Look at that for a fish on the car. We've got it. We've got it. How good is that? Yeah.
G'day everyone and welcome to this month's fishing update. Now we're covering the month of November. Now the weather is getting really warm and it's a great time of year to be outdoors, fishing and enjoying life in the sun. Now, we're actually at Lake Burrendong. We're indoors, we're in the cabin at the moment. Chris is just behind me rigging up a few lures. Now, what we're doing here, we come up for a little bit of a fish, but we've got something more exciting happening. And if you've been watching us across Facebook, across the website, you might know why we're here. If not, check them out and you'll know because it's a very exciting event. Now, starting up in northern New South Wales, Copeton has slowed down a lot from what it was a few months back. Now, the cod have gone really quiet. It could be because they're in their mind of the breeding cycle and the water's warmed up. They've calmed right down. Maybe it's because there's a lot of food up there for them to feed on, so they're not eating our lures. The Golden Perch are slow as well, but you will still catch a few if you're up in that area. It's worth a crack. Adam Townsend's been catching some good yellers, so definitely worth a crack. Even the rivers up there, if you know a few of the rivers like the Severn River, really good spot to target goldens, and they're starting to move in those waters because it is warming up. It's looking to be a good December. Cod Open should be great up there, so definitely worth a crack if you're up in the north. Now we come down a little bit where we are today at Burrendong. Like I said, the fishing is slow. Today is super windy, shocking day out in the water. We didn't even bother heading out because the wind was just horrendous. We were out and we had a little bit of a fish for a couple of hours yesterday afternoon. Chris hooked onto a couple of really good fish, dropped them beside the boat. Quite solid goldens. Other than that, it was quite slow fishing. The water temperature is super hot and there's tons of bait fish and food in the water because all the lakes are full now. There's so much food. That lake is going off. It is buzzing, so I'm sure the goldens have a lot to feed on. Same as what I was thinking with Copeton. They've got that much food. Why do they want to take an artificial lure that we cast at them? It's sort of that problem we have. But fishing is good if you roll grubs up trees. If you find the schools sitting on the trees, you'll be sure to get them. But you just got to spend the time circling the trees. Use your sounder if it comes up with arches. Pull up, tie up, and you slow roll grubs up the trees. It is a very slow style of fishing. I prefer to cast along the banks, but we got a couple in that dirty edge where the wind hits the dirty water. If you've seen our complete guide video series, you'll learn all about where we target golden. So that's one spot, fishing the dirty water. Now it's Burrendong. Come down a bit to some of our home locations that we love to fish. Burrinjuck and Blaring are actually starting to pick up. Blaring was quite cool in terms of water temperature compared to everywhere else. The water has only just hit about 16 degrees now, which is very odd for November, but because it sits a bit up in the Snowy Mountains, the water is cooler. It comes straight out of Windamere. So Blaring is starting to pick up now. The fish are actually feeding. Because it's so full, they're still sitting deep. So you still may need to hop your lures down those steep rocky banks, but with the warm water they will feed. Casting the rocky banks with lipless crankbaits, weighted lures, or your soft plastics in the trees. Now we were at Windamere last weekend fishing the grassy edges. We actually saw a lot of goldens cruising. So Windamere is just above Blaring at Talbingo. Between the dams of Talbingo and Blaring, nice little pondage in there. If you live in the area, it is actually worth a crack. Fishing the grassy banks early in the morning or even late in the afternoon when it's warmed up. Some really good healthy golden perch coming out of there, so it's worth a crack. Burrinjuck starting to clear up a little bit. Fishing is getting better there. Definitely worth a shot. Now, Chris, you're rigging some lures for me. Now, Chris is actually rigging some big FX Furies, which are these ones here that we were catching some big fish on at the end of the season. Now he's rigging them for a trip I'm doing next week to Lake Eildon. We're going to go cast a few of these for big cod. Because Eildon, like Copeton, is now open year round to cod fishing, that's where we're going to target a few of them. So make sure you stick around to find out how we go down there. I'm sure it's going to be good. The fishing is picking up there, but we'll keep you updated. So keep a check out on the website and Facebook to see how Eildon is. Now Chris knows how the Hume and a few other places are fishing. How are they going?
Yeah, good, mate. They're starting to fish really well. Lake Hume, a lot of big fish getting caught, but you have to work hard for them. There's a lot of food around for them. The dam is up to now over 90%, so they haven't had to work hard for a feed. So if you're gonna work the edges in a boat, I suggest sounding them up first and slow your retrieve down. Lipless crankbaits and soft plastics seem to be the best way to go. Once you find those fish, concentrate on those. Don't leave fish to find fish. These fish are very scattered out, so once you find one or two, concentrate on that area. Dartmouth it's starting to warm up now. We're starting to see a bit of sunshine, which is a big change because the last couple of months have been rainy, wet and cold, which suits the trout. But as it warms up, those fish will push down a little bit further. So down rigging, using snap weights and lead core line from now on will be the norm. So also don't forget to take your drop pots down there if you're looking to go get a feed of yabbies as well. So it's a bit of an added benefit if the trout aren't, feeding really, really well, at least you get a feed of yabbies. Mull whaler, they're still getting the odd yellow belly around the willow trees. If you're bait fishing with shrimp, green prawns also work really well. And I tend to find early in the season, this time of year, bright spinner baits with a bit of a contrasting darker colour seem to work really well. I like to use willow blades because you seem to cover a lot more water and you'll find those fish right up in that spindly timber or right up in the willows on the edges. Places like Majors and Kiffins seem to be a few yellows around there, but that could be just because a lot more people are targeting that area. Lake Albert in Wagga, once again, full to the brim. A lot of food in it too. We're starting to see the shrimp move around a bit more, so and the bite has slowed down a touch. This is about the same everywhere across the board. All these lakes are filled up, so there's a lot more food. So you're going to have to work harder for the fish. So middle of the day seems to be the best bite time. It always has been for Lake Albert for some reason, and it's really good because you don't have to get up too early to catch fish. And maybe it's because it's a dirtier lake and the visibility seems to be a little bit better in the middle of the day. So ZX blades, I've got a few boys down there, the Bailey Steed brothers, been down there and they've been carving up on the ZX blades. So I'd slow roll those along the weedy edges, and that's where you'll pick them up. Lake Manus, now this is one we haven't touched on quite a bit because a couple of years ago, Lake Manus filled up, the dam broke, and it was no more. Now, since then, Lake Manus has been built back up. Now, it's a water storage area for tumbarumba, so it's very, very small, but holds a lot of fish. At the present time, it's packed full of redfin, so if you want to get your kids into lure casting, it's not a bad place to go because it's quite often you'll get 20, 30, 40, 50 redfin in one hit. So it has been stocked with natives, and the next couple of years it'll be great. So keep an eye out for that one. The Murray below Lake Hume. Now, that's been fishing really well, some really big brown trout too. And with this time of year, coinciding with yellow belly spawn, you'll find a lot of fish will hit the wall there at Lake Hume and they'll stack up. So you'll start seeing some big golden perch and some very, very big trout. As long as they're letting water out, you'll always find trout at the mouth of the Lake Hume. So metal slugs or barrel sinkers that have been shaved right back so they've got that really shiny coat, burnt really, really quick in the fast water, you'll pick up your trout. With your golden perch, diving minnows, lipless crankbaits are going to work a treat. Murrumbidgee around Wagga and surrounding areas. Now from Gundagai to Narrandera, working fantastic. It's been really, really good, and although it's still high, it's starting to clear up a little bit, and the golden perch are starting to feed very, very aggressively, but very close and very shallow in the edges. So spinnerbaits, mudguts, spinnerbaits with willow blades. Once again, I love my bright colours, my bright oranges, my bright pinks and whites. They'll work well. So definitely get out there and start hitting the river again. We haven't been able to fish it for a while now, and I've been itching to give it a bit of a cast. So next week, that's basically all I'm going to be doing. So head down to your local fisheries, guys. They're all starting to come awake now. So beautiful spring days. Where else would you want to be?
Spring is great, isn't it?
Fantastic.
So Chris is going to get back to rigging those plastics for me, and I'm super excited because Chris will be fishing the river back home. Jack and I are heading to Lake Eildon in Victoria. It's my favourite fishery to fish, and there's going to be some big fish, and hopefully we can get onto some cod. So we're going to do some surface fishing, plastics, spinnerbaits, and we'll fish for some of those golden perch as well. So hopefully now, wherever you are, you know how to fish a biting. Get out there and give it a crack. Would you like to learn more about freshwater fishing? Then make sure you check out the Complete Guide Lure Fishing series. It's the very first freshwater tutorial video series with over 5.5 hours, 20 tutorials and 330 minutes of jam-packed action, and it's only available at Social Fishing. To learn more about this series, visit the website at www.socialfishing.com.au.